Hi there, this is the walkthrough on your 2013 Airstream. I'm going to start up front with you, and then I'm actually going to go all the way around the outside, and then we'll go on the inside and explore together. So first off, my name is Jordan Buck, and if you do have any questions, you can give me or your salesman a call. I'm going to start right up front here, of course, being with your front tongue jack. This right here has two little levers on it, one being a light, which just turns on a light up there, very helpful if you're hooking up in the dark, on and off, and then you got the up and the down. I did that backwards, but that's okay. Gives you an idea. Of course, that is nice. There is a bubble on top here so you can see when you are perfectly level. Right now, we're not on the a perfect slope there, so it is showing a little off there, which is okay for what we're doing today. Now, of course, Airstream has a lot of great features, being one, including this front window. There's two little black notches on there that you can strap your front window in. This is actually your screen here. So I'm going to open it up, and all you do is you can open it and tighten it on both sides with these little black knobs here. So you lefty loosey, righty tighty on both sides, opens it up. You'll see that this is a nice tinted glass as well on the outside. This inner glass that they have up here is a little less tinted, so if you really want to block off everything, it's nice to have that down. But if you want to open this window, make sure that you have this open. So, leading from there, I'm going to go straight down into this right here. This is actually your propane tank. If you want to pop around, take a little quick peek inside here, you'll see that there is two tanks in here, lefty loosey, righty tighty to open, of course. And then you have your regulator right down on this side. So what you want to do there is whatever tank you want to source off of, you just want to give that knob a turn there. There'll be a little arrow on it. You might not be able to see it in the video, but once you actually see it in person, it's quite clear. A little knob to change the direction of what tank you want to be drawing out of. Super easy to work. Just open up those tanks, turn that knob, you have propane in your system there. So if you take a look down, I'm going to actually move this, put it just on top of here for now. This is the casing for your battery there. So I'm just going to open it up. It's actually easier to open it from the side so you actually have room. I have right now the 12-volt battery in there, and then there's that little foot pedestal for your front tongue jack right there. We have a different one on the bottom right now, but it's the original will make it a little higher, which is always nice. You can always fit a second battery in there if you like as well. So that's, again, a 12-volt battery there. Going to open this as well, because that is the front storage compartment. As you'll see, there is your cable, your 30 amp cable right there. As you can see, it's just a 30 amp with a natural plug-in right here, plus the, if I can grab it here, 15 amp adapter here. So if you want to run it into a regular household plug, get the battery charged up, it's always nice to do when you have it at your house right there. You'll see there's the awning cable in there as well to, of course, run your, put out your awning. I have another one that I'm going to use today just to make sure that we don't take everything out of place here and leave it for you to use. So closing that back up, nice and easy there. Now, this little piece that I moved here, this is actually for your jacks. It's all bubbled wrapped up right now. So this is going to be for your jacks there. All you're going to do is actually take it and crank it down. Those are your stabilizing jacks, so you don't want to be lifting the trailer at all, just cranking it so it's just going to stay steady on the ground, and when you're walking inside the Airstream, it's going to stay nice and steady, which is very nice to have when you're at a campsite, especially if it's not completely level. So going along the side here, I'm going to get up to this window awning in a second here. I want to talk about these items first. Right here, you're going to have your outdoor shower, which is done by a key. I just have it unlocked right now. And you get a hot and cold nozzle with a shower head that you can pull out and use. Of course, it's super nice, especially if you're washing off, kids, dogs, anything like that. Just going to put that up for a second so you can take a peek underneath, because this is some of the fun stuff underneath here. This is your plumbing. So what you're going to have is your holding tanks and the also a little light here that you can push for when you're doing it in the dark. So what you want to do here is you want to have your hose hooked up to this port here. Always start with hooking up your hose first and sticking it into the ground. In some parts, you might need to have a locking piece. So just make sure you're aware of that. And then you have two pull handles here. So one is going to be for your black tank. What's going to be for your gray tank there? What you want to do with these is there's little knobs so they don't get pulled. So you just want to push those off to the side. And then when you're hooked up, you want to give this one a pull. So what that's going to do is that's going to empty out your black tank. So your black tank is going to be all your toilet water. So that's going to be all the nasty stuff coming out first. The other one there, as you can see, is still closed off with these levers here. That one is the gray tank. So that's going to be your shower and sink water. So that one's a little bit more cleaner, soapy water, which is going to be nice to clean out your hose with. Something else that comes in handy with this is actually up here. This right here is the black tank flush. So what that means is it's actually going to spray water into your black tank and flush it out. All you got to do there is undo this little knob, stick a hose to it, any kind of garden hose or anything, wherever you're deciding to dump. Leave your black tank open and put some water in there. It's going to siphon it and actually clean it out so you're getting a nicer tank. I recommend doing that every single time you empty out this black tank. Now, to know when you're going to need to empty out the black tank, there is a level reader on the inside, which of course we'll get to soon there. Now, it shows your black tank, your gray tank, and your fresh water tank. Now, to fill your fresh water tank is actually this port right here. So you'll see, I'm going to open it up. It's just nice and easy. You stick a hose right in there, and when it is full, it's actually going to come spewing out of that little port there, the little mesh. So that's how you know it is fully full, or you can always check your reader on the inside. Again, we're going to get to that. So there's two types of water you can use with an RV. That is that portable water there, which you hook up, or your city water. So that's going to be when you're at a campsite that has water lines. Now this right here is going to go right to your fixtures. So the difference between the two is this is a high pressure water system that you're hooking up, and it's going to all the pressurized water is going to go to your taps when you open it. You don't need to turn on your water pump or anything. The one thing about this is that you want to use a water pressure regulator. Because some campsites do push out 100 psi, these trailers here, the Airstreams, they're only rated for about 45 to 50 psi. So you want to make sure you use an auto regulator to bring that down, auto pressure regulator, of course, to bring that down to about 45 psi, which you can definitely use and find at most places as well. So hook that up, hook up your hose to that so it's nice and easy. A lot of places also will require you to use a white and blue hose, which has it's a blue lining on the inside actually that keeps it cleaner water, and that's how the campsites know that you're using a clean hose when using their water. So again, that you won't need to use your water pump for. When you are sourcing water out of your water tank, you will need to use your water pump from there, which we'll get more into when we're inside. It's a fun feature there. So you'll see there is two ports on this side here. This right here is for your cable and satellite. So if you do go to a part that has cable and satellite, it's nice and easy. You just hook it up to the coaxials there, and they run straight into the TVs. Just need to close that off. This one here, I am plugged into 30 amp right now. I have the AC running inside because it is a beautiful day, of course. So you can see the cable is about 25 feet, I believe. And then you just want to stick it in. There's 3 prongs. You just got to match up where you put it in. And then there's this little lock twist here. So you want to make sure that is fastened up to make sure this plug is not accidentally coming out when you are using something that requires being plugged in. Now, of course, you have that battery there. Like I said, I have the AC running because I have it on 30 amp. If I didn't have it on 30 amp, I wouldn't be able to run the AC or the microwave. So that is one big thing that you keep in mind is, say, if you're plugged into your house on 15 amp, you wouldn't be able to run the AC on that 30 amp only, unless you have a large enough generator. Of course, you can do that too. This right here is your fridge vent. There's actually not a whole lot you need to do in here, but you always want to double check to make sure this spout here is pointing at the outside. Because you don't want, this is going to be some water drips every so often when your fridge is running. You want to make sure it's just dripping into this tray and it's going to exit out right there. So it's always good to check into that every so often, make sure it is in the correct place. So now, I'll actually touch on one more thing, and then I'll go over your window awning. This is just your furnace exhaust. So this area right here is going to be quite hot when you are having your furnace running. Make sure you don't have any hands to touch it, or that you don't stick any chairs next to it or something that can, of course, burn or catch fire there. So I'm just grabbing this right here. This is the awning rod. Now this is going to be used, of course, for the main awning and for your window awning here. For your window awning, there is a lock right here. It is a little bit hard to see in the video, but it's lefty loosey, righty tighty there. It locks into place very easy, and then you just unlock it. I'm going to get this rod out. There you go. These are probably the toughest thing to do, is just get the lock out. You just got to be nice and patient. Give it a little wiggle there. There you go. So now that that locks out of place there, now this part right here is actually how you get your awning down. So this is, like I said, the window awning. So it's not going to be a full awning there. But what you want to do is you want to grab that. You see we're unlocked, so I can move it. Whenever it is in hand's reach, I very strongly recommend grabbing it with your hand, because this is just a little hook. And you might get dripped on a little bit, but of course that is okay. And it sits in just like this. So you see, it's super easy to do, super easy to put away, because you do exactly the opposite. You take it by this hook, slowly put it back. I'll do it for you guys to see here. Put it on the hook, slowly put it back. You don't want to let it go and slam against your Airstream. There we go. And then you come back over here and you lock it back up for whenever you're traveling there. Again, a nice easy turn, puts it into place. It's a little locking position there. I'm going to keep this on me because I'm going to use it for your awning here. You do have that window awning in the back here. It is a little bit different. I might as well show you this one too, guys, just so you can see. So this one doesn't have a lock. So this one you actually just pull, grab by your hand, of course. And then you have these two sticks on the other side here. You want to pull it out, flip it around, and then you stick it right in this little holder. I wouldn't let go of this until you do it to both sides, just for ease. And now, check, I'm in both. I can let go, and it's going to set out now. That one's super easy. You don't have to unlock it, as it is a little awning. But again, you want to make sure that you're letting go of it slowly. So you can pull these down, put these back down here. It is nice. It gives you a lot of shade on the inside, especially when it's a sunny day like this out. If you want to slowly let it up, just so it's in the cover. There you go. Nice and easy. If you do ever let it go too fast, it could slam against the Airstream. Of course, that's not something you want. Plus, this little piece right here that I'm using to pull down, that could get tangled up inside, and it's going to be a pain to get your awning out after that. So, staying on the backhand side, this is just going to be your license plate holder right back here. Of course, your tail lights, and then your back bumper here. So it does have a little bit of storage in here. Right now, I just have a sewer hose, and I have this, of course, the awning rod in there as well. It's nice and easy to just lift up and close down. There's this little piece right here. It just locks into place. Now, I am just going to close the main door. That one keeps the AC and cool inside. And plus, we're going to go over your awning right now. So, again, for this awning, there is going to be that lock. What I'm going to do is I'm going to reach up to the top. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to unlock it. See, it pops open nice and easy like that. On every Airstream, there is two other locks. So on either side here, there's this wheel right at the top that you can move around, and it sits right into place here. Sometimes you got to give it a little squeeze, and it looks like I need to unloosen this one a little bit. But you actually just twist it like this to unloosen and loosen back up. And once you have it undone like it is right now, of course, you check both sides. That's where this extension comes in handy. Check both sides. This one is down already. If it wasn't, I would loosen it, put it down against the Airstream as it is right now. And then you come over here and you grab this piece here. And again, you slowly give it a tug here. I'm just Like to always double check that I am unlocked. So slowly give it a tug. And as I said, you always want to make sure you grab onto this. And for these awnings, especially, you don't want to let go. Because if you let go, it's wanting to give back here. It's wanting to put itself away. So keep onto this, and then what you can do, come on the inside, and if you hold this down, this is where you want to lock your awning into place here. So you don't want to let go of this rope for this process. There's two arms on the either side of your awning. You actually want to come and bring it actually to the very top. So if you come over here into the middle, I'm going to show you where to put it here. So you see this right here? This actually goes on the inside of your arm and of the roll. So you can take a peek of that. See, it's just in between on the little roll there. Again, you want to do that to the other side without letting go of this, because this is how your awning stays into place. Unlock it there. Extend it to that middle piece there. And if we look, I can actually let go of this piece now. I am not giving it any attention. It's being held in place by those arms. So I'm going to come back to that. We can roll it up actually in the meantime here. But the next portion is actually extending your awning so that the arms can come out. What you want to do here is there's this little knob right here. You want to pull on it, away from you the way that its direction can move. And then you give it a little push. See how that clicked into place? You may not have been able to hear it, but it clicks into place. There's a few more positions you can extend it to. You just have to play around with it a little bit. Right there. There you go. And you'll see that you can click it into multiple positions. Now, I'm going to stop as it is right now because you can see that I have the awning pitched. On the other side, I do want to lock it into that first little piece that, again, is right about here, right where my finger is, so that it's actually locked into place fully. But if I do that, you'll see the awning is still on a pitch. Unlock it. Push it up. I've just locked it in position. These you got to play with a little bit sometimes. You just want to make sure you are in that locked position. So from here, you can actually take this and wrap it all up, and it tucks nicely in the awning, just out of the way. So now that it's like this, it's on a pitch. You can actually, if it's a light rain outside, keep it like this, and the rain is going to go off to that one side. It's kind of nice so that you can have your full campsite. It's not going to be just coming off the end. It does go down to the one angle there. So there's a couple different settings, as you can see on this here. There's two right up top, another one down here. So it's a nice feature to have. Of course, does allow for a lot of shade, and now it's really just putting it away. So now I just quickly fix the pitch for you here, so it's back to its normal equal on both sides. Now we're going to be putting the awning away. Again, the most important thing to do before putting the awning away is make sure that you grab this. Just in case it does come loose here, you don't want this going into a getting tied up there. So again, this just goes down. You hold this, you can see if I let go of a little bit, it does want to move. So putting this into this little locking position down here, it has a little nut and a screw there. Holding this with a little bit of tension still, you go to the other side, do the exact same thing, and it just comes right off nice and easy. Again, I still have the tension here because you see it does want to roll up. Now, what I like to do is I like to pull it all the way out again so that you can have your rope nice and straight. You want to roll it up very straight, like I was saying. Before I roll it up as well, you want to make sure you have your extension arm so that you don't get stuck and have to reach. So, again, slowly bring it up. Not letting go of the rope. Extend your arm as much as you can with this. And then I can slowly put it away. There you go. Now you have your rope there. It's all covered. And then, of course, you want to lock it back up. Now, you have your travel lock up here. If you really want, you can step on the stairs. Makes it a little easier because you're a little higher up, of course. Get yourself situated in the lock. Lock it into place. You can see that's all nice and locked in there. And then, of course, you have these right here. that, like I said, I gotta loosen that one up a little bit. And these just slide. You gotta just watch the red knob on this as you're putting it away. You gotta give it a little squeeze, and you'll see I kind of locked in there. Now you just want to tighten it by spinning it. So again, keep your hand tightened here. Oh, lefty. You gotta remember lefty loosey, righty tighty, or else that's not gonna work. You can see I'm just gonna spin this slowly. It's tightening up there. There you go. All nice and tight into place. So that's tight on that side. Again, you want to do it to both sides there as it is a travel. Lock it in. Remember, grab that awning just a little bit, tighten it close to itself, so that you can really tighten it well, because you don't want that thing shaking while you're driving there. I'm gonna put this down because we're just about ready to go inside, which is awesome. I just have a couple more items to go over on this side. One being, if you look up here, that right there is for when you're cooking. When you have your stovetop going, there's a little flap there. You just want to open it up and make sure the air can get through, so that steam and smoke can actually get out there. Down here, there's going to be two plugins. So if you do want to plug in a little bit of lights or anything like that, you can. It's nice and easy. Just flips right down. Then this right here is your water tank. There's a couple things that you want to look for in your water tank. Number one, there's this right up here, which is your pressure release valve. If you are building pressure and using a hot water tank, you might see some steam or little drips of water coming in out of that, but that is okay for this. This right here is your igniter. So just make sure if you ever need to check it, the hot water's not working, check your igniter first and make sure there is a flame going. And then in here, you'll see a white plug down below. So make sure that your plug is in when you are going to be using your hot water. Now, of course, there is going to be the winterizing of the hot water tanks and de-winterizing, which we do have videos on as well, if you want to check those out for when it becomes time to do that. Now, the last item before we jump inside is your steps right here. Super easy to work. You just got to fold this top one up first, so it's right out of the way, and then this folds into the doorway there. Nice and easy, nice and secure. Then when you want it out, you kind of give it a little lift up, pops right down, give it a little step on your foot, you're ready to go on inside. So this, see, I'm going to show you this right here. This is actually a little lock for your door. So it locks into place there, nice and easy. Then we have the door that is nice and secure there. You even have your screen door you can use. So I have that there, and there's a little sliding piece here if you don't want any bugs to get in. Super nice to have. The screen is right here, and you can pop it right back open, just as easy as that. Flips it up. There you go. Welcome to your new Airstream. So there is a couple of things for us to go over right when we walk in the door. I have the stereo on. I'm going to just turn that down for now so that we can focus on everything else. Right in the door here, you're going to have a couple items. Right at the bottom is your fire extinguisher. It is a one-time use fire extinguisher, so just make sure that you are checking the dates on that as well. This one right here is very important. That's your battery disconnect. So if we are wanting to run or to store the Airstream, I should say, you do want to hit the store, so hit that button down there. That's going to turn off everything in the unit and stop any power from draining from it. So it's quite a nice feature to have. If you are, for some reason, something's not working in here, you're not getting any lights, check this first, because maybe you'll only have to just hit that use button. You'll see there is several buttons right here. Some are going to be from the inside, that's some of the outside. This right here is for your main outside door here. And then you have this one, which is the lights right above the dinette. And then this one is actually going to be the cabinetry right above the dinette as well. You have this one more switch here, which is your main lights in the central area, which you actually have on a dimmer switch as well. So if you want to put a movie on and dim the lights a little bit, it is kind of a nice feature. Then, of course, you're going to have button push for storage on the top and bottom. Oops. And a little bit of storage for shoes underneath, which is always nice. So closing those back up here. Let's take a look at everything else. I'm going to pop in here with you. You'll see that of course, in the back area here, I'm going to start just back here, go over all of this, and then we'll move our way through everything. So I'm actually going to close the Airstream door just so we don't get any outside noise. You have a road that's right by us there. Okay, so this right here is your stereo. So right now, of course, it's just running off of FM radio, which you can turn up. You can hear inside here. You may not be able to hear off my speaker there, but you also have the Bluetooth system as well, and USB, which you just gotta go through the source button on the far left here. You can just hit that through. No device, of course, is hooked up right now. USB, no device. So you've got to cycle through that to whatever you want in the tuner. This is going to be a little bit of playing around for you, but it's super easy to use where you can just play around with the music, put in your phone if you like. Going further on here, I should mention one more thing with this, is this right up here. If you are on a phone call for your Bluetooth speaker, that is the actual speaker for it. So just so you know where that is. In this one, this is your HDMI DVD player. So it's a Sony, it's plugged in, it's wired up to the TV that's on the other side of the dinette there. So if you do want to run any movies, it's quite nice to just plug something in right there and watch away. These just slide over, and of course, like I said, those lights inside there are controlled from that switch right when you walk in. You'll see that right below, of course, we have the dinette. This does turn into a bed, but you actually just take off those back hinges. Super easy. So I'm actually going to just close this for a second because it is a little bright and I want to make sure the camera can see everything. That is your blind for your top skylight. Now there is, of course, a couple blinds in this thing, including these up here for the top windows, which you just pull up. And then there's these for the bottom windows, which there's a locking port right behind the couch here that you just slide it into, and they are blackout blinds, which is super nice there. The windows I will get to soon here. There you go. So, of course, that is nice and easy to work. Right beside it, you have your TV that is on a locking swivel. So you actually have this little piece down here that you give a pull to, and you can actually pull it out, rotate it, stretch it wherever you want to see the TV from. It's quite nice if you guys are watching at different angles. It's really portion it well. And then just make sure you give it a push so it locks back in. I'm going to be going down from here, which is going to be storage underneath here. Quite nice to have, true storage or whatever you want to do there. And then you have the extra bed. So this pops out, and then you can actually make this into an extra bed by sliding these cushions over and placing these cushions in the back. It's a quite nice feature to have if you want to have a little bit more space back here. And you can still actually, as you can see, walk through. You just got to make sure you lift that up before you put it away. So nice feature there. Of course, we have our kitchen here where you're going to get these nice pull handles here and lots of storage in there. See a nice round piece of storage there. Now, of course, you get the large sink in this as well with this sink cover that is a cutting board, so nice and deep for you. Let's close these up, close this up. This is going to be a really important part as well. This is going to be your a few extra light switches, and I'm just going to close this blind to make sure the camera doesn't catch any glare. Okay, so I'm going to start at the bottom here. These are just for these light switches here, and this is for right above in the cabinetry. Right here is your inverter. So you have an inverter in this that's going to run certain items off of 12 volts. So that's going to make it able to run, I believe I'll have to check if it's your TV, but you push that on, it's going to turn your inverter on, turns it on to 12 volt there, which is quite nice. Of course, a couple plugins right here. Then you have this, which is one of the most important things in the unit. This is going to be your monitoring system. A little bit different of a functionality with this one. As you'll see, there's 3 buttons on the bottom. There's an on-off button, which right now it means it's all off. You can't do anything with the status button. So we got to fix the lights so you can see a little bit better. So I'm going to start with this button right here. That's the water pump. Now, for that water pump, remember how I was saying on the outside that you fill your water tank on the outside and you have to pressurize that water by turning on the water pump? Well, that's that button right there. So if you're sourcing water off your freshwater tank, come here, you turn on this water pump. It's going to pressurize that water whenever you open up a tap. Just remember that you don't want to leave that button on all the time, because that's going to keep that tank or that water pump running, which you want to preserve its life for as long as possible. So turn it off when you're not using it. The next thing is this on-off button right now. You'll see on this system here, there's fresh water, gray water, black water, and battery. I'm going to hit this on. It's going to do a little bit of a cycle, blinking some lights, starting itself up here. So we're just going to give it a minute here. So once it turns on, it's going to give us a couple different colors here. So the battery there is green, which means good. Green means good, of course, red means bad, orange means medium for this, really. So you're going to have your black water, which is green, so that means it's good, it's empty. Your gray water, which is green, which means it's good, it's empty as well. But your fresh water is blinking red because we actually don't have any fresh water in this currently. So that's it saying it's low, which is bad. Now, if you really want to check the status of everything, you hit this button and you watch it do its thing. So first off, it's going to give you the fresh water. It blinks 3 times red. It's on empty, right? So that's how you tell. It's going to blink 3 times on the gray water. It's a green light down here on empty because that's a good thing. Your black water blinks 3 times so you know it's actually sourcing that. Empty, and then it's going to blink again on the battery. And then you'll see the whole thing light up telling you bad, good, medium, and then great, being that it's fully charged at the top. So again, all you can do that is just hit the cycle button so you get through all of those. And just watch out for the red blinks because that tells you what it's going to show you. It's a super cool system instead of just hitting each button one by one. Super nice there. I'm just going to turn this off now. So we have a couple other things right here. Keep myself out of the AC. I'm going to close that off so it's not blowing in our ear here. So of course you have a light right here, nice and easy, and then you have that fan. Remember that fan, that hood vent I was talking about on the outside? When you run this fan, you want to make sure that you open up that vent. This right here, you actually just pull up and fold. Comes a little bit of a backsplash, and you have your 3-burner stove. For this, I actually didn't turn on the propane for the outside, but what you want to do is each symbol has its light here. So you push it down, put it over to light, and then you spark it. So once it sparks, you'll see a flame go on, and then you can turn it to low, high, whatever you want to cook on there. This front one is going to be the hottest always, so if you do want to cook something quick, it's nice to use that front one. The oven here is going to be a little bit different. So there is a pilot light down here. So what you want to do with the pilot light is you actually push in again and hold it down to that pilot light. Once you do that, there's this metal piece underneath here. If you look at the very back of it, you might not be able to see it in the video. At the very back, there's this little igniter right back there. You actually want to take a barbecue lighter, and while you're holding it down to pilot, light that pilot light. Once from there, you keep holding that pilot light down. Once you see that flame lit, you can then change it to the temperature. Make sure your hand is out of there before you do it, and you'll see that flame come all the way around this the metal piece, the igniter there. From there, you let your oven preheat. It's ready to go. These here are all going to be just storage, pull-out drawers, of course. Nice and easy to work there. This is going to be the next feature here. This right here is your pull-out microwave. So you see that slides up for storage in the top. The microwave turns on as soon as you pull it out, which is super nice. Again, remember you do have to be connected to 30 amp to use it though. Sliding it back in, closing this. It's best to close it on with 2 hands on either side, make sure the microwave's all the way in. This one lifts up from the bottom here. Same kind of thing. You have that storage. This one has a nice slide out storage there for your pantry. Always nice to have. Now keeping with this area, I'm going to get back to the fridge in a second, but this right here is your converter. So I'm going to open this up for you to see. You're going to have your fuses and breakers on this. So what I always recommend is carry some extra fuses with you just in case anything does pop or you're running too many things on the lower power. It's always good to have. And then check this first if nothing is running as well, because it might just be a breaker that popped there, just like in your house. Nice and easy to lock up, put away. Now, like I was saying, I was going to get back to the fridge. Open this up for you. There you go. So you'll see your fridge freezer is right here. There's 3 buttons on top of your freezer here, and that's how you actually run it. So what you want to do is you turn on and off, you'll see it's going to start up there. Right now, there's a little dot in the left-hand corner on that marks that we are on auto. So if you wanted to specifically run off of propane, you can actually just hit this button. It's going to switch that dot to the other side there, right in the middle, to let you know it's running off propane. Now, of course, I don't want to do that right now because I don't have propane going through the system. I didn't turn on the propane tanks. Set the temperature. You can actually just hit it to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Depending where you want it to be, that might be a testing phase for you to do. I usually start out at 3 or 4. Make sure it doesn't freeze the food. Again, that's going to be a test and real thing for you. Now, this right here is quite nice. I'm going to do it before I get into the closet area here. This right here is a little track up top for privacy. So if you want to completely close off the bathroom, just put this into place here. The little latch in place, locked into place. Look at that. Completely private for you to use the washroom, or if you want to keep your bedroom completely closed off as well. Latch that back up. You do have 2 closets here, which are nice. Has a light in there, super easy to open. Lots of space in there, which is always good. And right down below it, you'll see this is going to be one of our furnace vents, which we're going to get to how to work that in a little bit. And then this right here is your propane detector. Because it's heavy, it sinks to the ground. You just want to make sure that that always has a life to it. It actually goes off your battery power too. So if that ever senses that it's dying, like has a life expectancy of around 7 years, if it senses it's dying, it's going to make some beeps on you. So just be aware of that. This right here, of course, is going to be a light switch for just inside the shower, which if you want to take a peek, you can. You see that it's a pretty simple shower, hot, cold area, a little seat for you. Now there is one extra thing that I'm going to actually just show you, and that is this clothesline right here. So this right here works as a clothesline. You can pull this across, latches into that way there. You just got to loosen it up, and goes as a clothesline if you want to hang anything. So it's kind of nice there. Closing that up. This right here is your toilet area. So we have another vent right above, but I'll let you peek in there because there's a few things for us to talk about. This bit in here, I'm going to just turn this way. Still have my sunglasses on, sorry. It's always bright out. There's a light switch in here for above us, of course, and then there's these 2 buttons right here. This is for your water heater. There is a little electric and gas symbol right there. Of course, that's how you know which type you're using your water heater out of. So if you want it to run on propane, give this a flick. It's going to start heating on propane. You just got to run some hot water through the tap, of course. Let's make sure there is water in that hot water tank. If you want to run it off electric, you give that one a switch there. The propane one is going to heat up quicker, so that is just FYI for you. Now there is another thing as well. This toilet here is a foot flush. It'll be kind of hard to see in the video, but you want to step on that flusher halfway, gets water in the bowl, then a full step flushes it down. The other items in here are just going to be storage. And then on the roof, there is a little vent up here. So what you want to do is you push this up and turn that little red button on. And if you ever want the smell to get out of here, it adds a little exhaust fan there for you. Then you just pull it to close it. Make sure you close this before you travel or before it rains so you don't get any water inside. Close this back up here. I'm going to show you around this way here. This is your other TV. Very simple, same kind of system as the first one there, which is quite nice. There's a couple buttons in here for lights. This is just a cabinet light up top. And then this is going to be your main light for the bedroom with the dimmer switch as well. Right up here, we have your cooling system and, full thermostat there. So right now, I have it on cool, nice 20 degrees Celsius there. So we might want to crank that down a little bit to make sure it is really cool. But up and down arrow to crank it down, whatever you want to put it there. So 21 and so on there. Now there's going to be mode. There's a mode button right here. That's how you cycle through what you want to use. So I'm going to cycle through to show you. Auto is just going to be an automatic fan that turns on through your AC. So just keep that in mind. That's your heat pump there. So that is electronic heat. If this Airstream does have the heat pump, it's going to be pumping hot air out of your AC. Again, change the temperature. Furnace, that is going to be fully propane there. Turns on, and again, set your temperature from there as well. Of course, that's going back to a fan as well. And then off. So get to play with this a little bit. You can change it from Fahrenheit to Celsius, and then you can check the inside temperature, which is 25 right now. So that is why we have that AC kicking in. And once it does hit that 20 degrees inside here, it is going to shut itself off and regulate its temperature from there. It does take about a minute to turn it back on after you turn it off, or once I turn it off, it'll take another minute to cycle through, push all the air out of the system before it turns off fully. This right here is going to be your emergency window. So same kind of thing here. You do want to unlock this window here, and then you can push it out if you really need to escape. What's nice about this window is you can still use it as a window, but with the blind and everything. So that's one nice thing. Let's show you how this works here. You can see latches into place. If you come over here, it's really hard to see in the video, but there's 3 spots for you to latch it up in here. So this is going to be on every window that opens, same kind of system there. You just want to grab onto these handles, and you can open it, put it into the next spot. Nice and simple. See how open this really gets. I even have one more spot I can go here, so just want to make sure you unlock it. Push it into place, push it into place. There you go. You can see how open and how much air you can get in here. You know, you can do some really good cross breezes with this because you can open both sides of the window. And then you just want to be gentle, bringing it down so you're not too rough on it. There you go. And then you want to make sure you latch this into place, turn these so it tightens it back up there. And that's going to be the same for every one of these windows again. So make sure you're checking that. You can see that I still left that the front screen open, so it is a different type of window there. Not as tinted, as I'm trying to say. This right here is a little reading light with a little switch right on the top there. So you guys can each have your own reading light with a storage right above, of course. Now, the one thing I haven't talked about yet is these fans right up here. So what you want to do is there's a few different features. There is a speed right here, which you can choose 1, 2, or 3. Gives you a speed of that. It's not going to turn on until you actually lift it up. So there's an on and on button on the top left, and then there's a manual crank right there or a button right there to raise it up or down. It's not going to turn on that fan until you actually have the vent open. Now, one thing you want to make sure with that is you don't want to travel with that lid open because you don't want to lose that lid, of course. Also, this does have the rain sensor feature. So if it does start raining, it is going to close. But I always recommend if you know it's going to rain, just close it beforehand, just in case. This also does have another screen right here for more privacy for the bedroom. If you just close that off, same kind of system, locks away. Now, closing this off here, there is a little bit of storage on both sides of the bed and underneath the bed. So you can see there is some storage places underneath there, super easy to work. I just, like as you saw, lifted this piece up. You can see it actually leads into that front storage compartment there if you really need to get anything. Just gonna close this back up here. There you go. Nice solid piece of wood on that, which is great. Now, I think that is... Oh, I'm going to show you one thing because I actually missed it in regards to the AC. So we're going to just check this out back here. Because like I said, I have this running. There's a few things you can do to make your AC more improved of where you want it to be. This one right here, the main vent, puts most of the air out here. If you do want to spread it to multiple areas of the Airstream, you can close that off and open up this. You'll see that now most of the air is coming out here. I could do that both ways so it's spread more towards each end of the Airstream. So it's completely up to you what you want to do there. This is your Airstream. Congratulations. Again, this has been a walkthrough on your 2013 Airstream.